Hello and welcome to Working with What You Got. I'm your host, Renee Joshua Porter, and I am so glad that you decided to join us today. Remember, our program is all about you realizing that you have more than you think you have. You have more time, you have more talent, you have more resources, you have more faith, you have more food, you have more people on your side, and it is time to unknot your mind. Well, we're going to start our show like we do every week, and we are going to cook. So I was thinking, and I thunk, what am I going to make? And I said, okay, I know what I'm going to do. There are a couple of snacks that I really like. I love onion rings. So I was thinking, how can I make an onion ring and it not be thousands of calories and land right on my butt? So I was thinking, I said, I know what I'll do. What about if I took some onions, cut them really thick, and dipped it in, remember, this is working with what you got. So I said, what can I dip it in? Dip it in pancake batter. So that's what I did. Oh, I think I came up with something. So I took onion rings. I took an onion. Look, we did it beforehand so you could see. You take your pancake batter and you mix it according to directions. I got one of those quick pancake batters where you just add water, everything is in there. Mixed it into a bowl. Took my onions and sliced it into rings. Dipped it inside of the pancake batter. Put it on a baking sheet. I got too much clutter up here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm all cluttered up. I put it on a baking sheet with parchment paper. Make sure you drip off the excess batter and just lay it on the parchment paper. Cut it into rings, mix pancake batter, put it on parchment paper. Let me just clear off my fingers. I put it in the oven on 400 for 10 minutes. I did try putting it into the broiler for maybe about 7 minutes, but what I found, it was actually burning too quickly. So it was really better just to put it on 400 for 10 minutes in the oven. And it came out so good. But before that, we need a sauce. You know I love sauce. Remember, this is working what you got. So what kind of sauce are we going to make? Ha! We're going to take, you know, those extra packs of soy sauce that you get from the Chinese food store? Whoop, put that in there. Duck sauce. Mustard. Uh-oh. Little bit of brown mustard. Duck sauce, soy sauce, brown mustard. We didn't want to use the Chinese food mustard because you know that's hot. That goes right to your brain. You won't be able to enjoy the onion rings. And then I'm going to take a little bit of fruit spread. I have a cherry fruit spread, so that's what I'm going to use. If you have something else, if you have apricot, you have strawberry, or even an apple, that would be good. And we're only putting a pinch just for sweetness. What did I use? My extra pack of soy sauce, my extra pack of duck sauce, a little brown mustard, and a little bit of fruit spread. Let me taste. Oh, that's good. It just needs a little bit more sweet. It has a lot of tang happening. Are you following me so far? Is this easy or what? You wanted to know, what do I do with those extra packs, right? Make a sauce. Make a sauce. Let me see. Yes. All right. So I'm going to have Tommy try it. Let me show you what the onion rings look like. I just put them on my pan to keep them warm. But they're little rings and they're little and crispy. Do you see them? Now, I know onion rings are really delicious when they're greasy. I love them when they're greasy. But it's summertime, baby. You're not going to be able to hide behind that fleece coat. So you got to cut down on the fat. All right, so come on, Tommy. Tommy, did I tell you how many people in my audience love when you come on?
No.
They do.
Please let me know.
Not only do they think you're handsome, they love your input.
I'm ready for you. I am ready for you.
All right.
I like onion rings too.
You do like onion rings?
I do.
So we made just a little sauce. I don't know if you're a saucer. Are you a saucer, Tommy?
Yes, I am.
You're a saucer? All right. You watch your weight.
This is the sauce with the...
Duck sauce, soy sauce. Do you like it?
I like it better than the greasy ones.
You do like it better than the greasy ones?
I don't like the greasy ones.
Oh, you don't like the greasy. I happen to like the greasy ones. But I just figured that gives a
See,
crunch.
I have a gallbladder thing, so I just stay away from that.
Gotcha.
I will cheat every now and then and have one.
Right.
But the sauce actually, have another one?
Tommy, you know. Afterwards, you got to give one to my girl Janine back there. You know how much I love Janine. Now, you like the sauce with it, huh?
I do.
Simple. Onions, pancake batter. Bake it. It has a nice crunch, right?
And they're great. They're not fattening.
No, I mean just the pancake batter. That's it. But I did do one thing with the pancake batter. All I did was put a pinch of salt and a little bit of onion powder in there. That's it. That's it.
I'm having another one.
Take it and make sure you share with Janine. And then I'm going to make my potatoes. Thank you, Tommy.
Definitely thumbs up. Better than regular onion rings.
All right.
My opinion.
Okay. Tommy, I'm telling you, he is the bomb. Thebomb.com. Okay, what else did I make after that? I started thinking about onion rings, and then I said, you know what? I'm going to kind of make my version of a potato chip. It's not as chippy as I would like it, but you know what? We got to retrain our palate. Yeah, it may not have that extra crunch. I haven't gotten that yet, but it's really good. So I took some potatoes, and I sliced them thin. Easy breezy. Took olive oil, 1/4 cup. That's my estimate. Did you like that? 1/4 cup of olive oil on thinly sliced potatoes. This is very simple. From there, I add onion powder, garlic powder. Well, let me just heat them up in here. Everything has to taste better when it's hot. Cajun spice. Whatever kind of spicy seasoning you have, you go ahead and use that. All right, thinly sliced potatoes, olive oil, onion powder, garlic powder, and I use a Cajun spice. Whatever type of seasoned salt you have, hopefully you're making sure it doesn't have MSG in it. Because even though MSG is a flavor enhancer, you know it's a carcinogen. What does that mean? It's a cancer-causing agent. I know, I hear you. Everything causes cancer. No, everything does not cause cancer. You have to be mindful and you have to read. Read. My people perish for lack of knowledge. So just because it may be a flavor enhancer does not mean that it's good for you. So start reading the labels of your seasoned salt. All right. What I did after that was olive oil, onion powder, garlic powder, a Cajun sea salt. That's all I did. And then I placed them also, I'm going to put them right here next to my onion rings on the parchment paper. And I baked it with the onion rings. I'm putting it over here so you can see. Different times, some of our viewers have said that they'd like to see the food. Not that they don't like looking at me, but they enjoy looking at the food even more. Did you see what I did? Did you see how easy that was? Olive oil, onion powder, garlic powder, Cajun spice. Placed it on the parchment paper with the onion rings. I just put it in here just to heat it up. I baked it in the oven with the onion rings on 400, 10 minutes checking. Ooh, I just burnt myself. Yuck. These plates that I'm using are styrofoam. Please don't hold it against me. I'm anti-styrofoam, but that's just what we had in the studio today. So, okay. Tommy, come on back to me.
You don't have to call me twice.
All right. Let's taste it. See if you like them. I don't even know if you need the fork. I try not to make it too spicy. Is it too hot?
I love that.
Yeah?
I love potatoes.
Yeah?
I could eat them just,
But
Yeah.
it's simple, right?
It's very simple.
It's just simple. Any spice too overpowering? Is it too greasy? Will it mess with your gallbladder?
No,
It's okay.
it's not spicy. I'm not a spicy guy.
You're not a spicy guy? Okay.
It's not spicy at all.
Okay.
Actually,
You can use a little bit more spice? You know I could always kick it up a notch, Tommy.
I know.
I could kick it up just a little bit, but I want to be gentle on you.
Yeah, go gentle.
I don't want Janine getting on me. All right.
See that? Now that's a healthy thing, right?
Yeah. Because it's all baked, nothing fried. And the oil that we're using is olive oil.
You could almost do like home fries with this.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Now, now we had it sitting for a while. When it first comes out, it's nice and crispy. But once it sits on the paper, it might get a little.
See, I like it like this.
You like it like that?
I like it a little soft.
You like it a little soft.
Yeah. I'm going to keep going.
All right. Thank you, Tommy.
I'll bring it in for you.
All right. So he said 2 for 2. We have 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
2 for 2.
You can't go wrong with this lady.
I love that guy. Look how easy that was. I'm telling you, if I can do it, you can do it. You have more than you think you have. More time, more talent, more money, more food, more ideas. All you got to do is take those knots out. Make yourself open. Sometimes we're so afraid to mess up. Oh, suppose I put too much salt. Oh, suppose I boil it too long. Suppose my nose was a garden hose. Stop. Just relax. Unknot your mind. Let God put his mind in you, and everything that you need is there. And we'll be right back after this. Stay tuned.
I am Tom Mealy for the Harrison Law Group, and I have been telling you for years that getting involved in an automobile accident is no joke. This is what we do. We're not new at this game. If you've been involved in an accident of any kind, and you go to a law firm that says you have no case, it's simple. It's because they can't do it and they don't get it. You need to call us directly at 1-800-INJURY-LAW.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
Stop the truck! Stop the truck! Thank you.
This is Beth.
Hi.
Oh, congratulations. When are you due?
I'm not pregnant.
Oh, look at that. Excuse me.
You're totally thin.
You look very sexy.
For life's bleachable moments, all it takes is 3.
Stop the truck! Stop the truck! Thank you.
Hi, and welcome to Working with What You Got's Rant of the Week. I'm Milani Porter, and I rant about various things that concern me. Now, this rant has been brewing in my mind for quite some time. I really do not like nor understand this trend of parents broadcasting their disciplinary methods on the internet. I really don't understand why we need to see a video of you beating and screaming at your children and that be uploaded online. I also don't understand why we need to see images of you disciplining your children and uploading it onto Instagram. What exactly is the point? There has to be a better method to discipline your child than to humiliate them. I don't think people realize that what you put on the internet stays there forever and ever and ever. And this child will one day grow up and still be subject to seeing this, which is really just some form of abuse. So I just really don't like that. And to all the oversharers, people who feel the need to put all of their intimate details of their life on the internet, please stop, because it's going to be there forever. And one day you're going to look back on it and regret that you put that you have cramps, or that your boyfriend broke up with you, or that your kids are so bad. I don't have kids, granted, so I don't know what a lot of you go through with your crazy kids, but there has to be a better way. I saw an image on Facebook of parents who shaved their kid's head and made him look like George Jefferson. He was like 8 years old because he was acting up in school. What does that teach him? What does that teach him, you shaving his head, except for him going to school and being further ridiculed and hating his parents? I just don't agree with that method. I do know that the Bible says, spare the rod and spoil the child. But I would like to think that the rod is not just the rod or the belt, but it's just discipline and love. And when you love someone, you do discipline them and you do correct them. But you would never, ever, ever want to embarrass or humiliate someone that you love, especially your child. Children are a blessing, and although they are yours here on earth, ultimately all children belong to God. So don't do anything to embarrass your child, and do not do anything to embarrass your Heavenly Father. Thank you for listening. See you next time.
Brooklyn's best locksmith and hardware.
We have 3 of the largest showrooms of safes on display and in stock. You can see and touch them in person instead of browsing a catalog. We carry gun and rifle safes, burglary safes, jewelry safes, fire rated from a half hour to 2 hour. Famous name brands.
We sell Gardol.
We sell AMSAC. The new AMSAC touchscreen.
If you're ever in need of a safe, think Brooklyn's best locksmith and hardware. Right, Lockie?
That's right, Alan.
Are you planning an event and want to include entertainment, but you're not sure where to turn? Act1Entertainment.net has provided over 1,500 events with quality, affordable live entertainment at private parties, corporate affairs, festivals, bike rallies, and more. Act 1 will fit into your budget. They're friendly, reliable, and do all the legwork for you. They take all major credit cards. Log on to Act1Entertainment.net for a free, no-obligation price quote, or call 631-758-3505 for a brochure. You'll be happy you did.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
To the world, we are a valley of dry bones, with hope lost, our purpose destroyed, and dreams shattered. Dry, in a desolate land, thirsty, seeking satisfaction and fulfillment, longing for a helping hand. Oh, good night, the enemy says, as he draws us to sleep once again, believing he has won this war, forgetting there is a remnant created for more. We are looked at by our adversary in this world as worthless, incompetent, and weak, yet looked at by our Creator as mighty warriors destined for greatness. In His eyes, we are an exceedingly great army, anointed, equipped, and positioned, ready to bring down the enemy's barriers. For in the midst of the chaos and turmoil, there is hope rising, an army of valiant soldiers willing to combat against sin, with spiritual armor in place, recognizing with Christ we will win. We dodge the attacks of guilt and shame, for we have been brought with a price and are not the same. Fear will no longer be a hindrance, for the Lord is our light and salvation. Whom shall we fear if we walk with the God of all creation? We are the movement that has been awakened by the God of angel armies. So we speak life to this generation. Awake, you were made for more than this. Do not give in, do not settle for less. Arise and let those blinding scales fall from your eyes. You were created to be a champion by He who is and will remain undefeated. You have been called more than a conqueror, and all labels have been stripped away by He whom we call Abba, Father, and our story changes today. We now march to the beat of victory, making our steps known and voice heard in this nation's history. We will roar like never before, for all can see the movement was here. Therefore, we will not conform. We will not stop. We will not give up, for we know we will make it. The moment has arrived. The time has come. May the power of your gospel be unleashed. Prophecy, dreams, vision, evidence of your spirit's outpouring power and manifestation. May we finally awake and with our vision edify this nation, rectifying towers that proclaim your name, Jesus, the name of salvation. May this army be invincible. May we break past the impossible, and may this movement be unstoppable. May our generation finally say, we are awake.
We want to talk to people tonight who maybe feel things are hopeless, dreams have been shattered, things look dark. Tonight we want to declare to you it's not over. It's only the beginning. Sing it, New Breed.
It's not over. It's not finished. It's not ending. It's only the beginning. When God is in it, all things are new. All things are new.
Let's help some people. I know it's darkest. Just before the dawn. This might be the hardest season. I know it hurts. I know it hurts. Won't be too long. Cause you're closer than you think you are. You're closer than you've been before. So look to the sky. Help is on the way. It's not over. No, it's not finished. Said it's not ending. It's not ending. It's only the beginning. When God is Jesus at the center of it all things are new. All things are. Something starting to move. I feel something starting to shift. Something is moving. Turning around. Turning around. Seasons are changing. Seasons are changing. I feel like preaching this. Everything. Here comes the sun. Piercing the clouds. I want you to know you're closer than you think you are. Closer than you've been before. when God is in it. Say it's not over. When God is in it, there is no limit. Oh, somebody's got to hear this tonight. Check the limits of our God. It's not over. When God, I'm speaking this over your marriage. I'm speaking this over your wayward sons and daughters. I'm speaking this over your unsaved spouse. It's not over. When God is in, I'm speaking this over your health tonight. I'm speaking this over your finances tonight. It's not over. It's not over. It's not over. It's not over. Till God says so. So I count it all joy. You make all things new. It's not over. Until God says so. So I count it all joy. Say it's not over. Until God says so. So I'll count it all joy. No matter what happens, it makes all things new. Say it's not over. No matter what the doctor says. So I'll just count it all joy. It's not over. It's not over. Say it's not over. It's not over. Till God says so. Till God says so. So I'll put a smile on my face. Because it makes all things new. You make all things new. It's not over. It's not over. Till God says so. So I'll count it all. Count it all. Count it all. Count it all. It's not over. It's not over. It's not over. Come on, how many believe it's not over? I feel this thing pushing in the room. Somebody came into the building suicidal. Somebody came into the building thinking this is the last day. And you're going to be able to stand in that relationship. Somebody came with
of How Ministries. That was awesome. This is the leader, Miguel Pagan. Miguel, can you take a moment? Talk into your mic. We don't have you clipped up, but can you introduce the rest of your team, please?
Yes, definitely. This is Eva Garcia. This is Brian Flores.
Brian.
Ashley Cruz.
Ashley Cruz. Come on, ladies.
And the rest of the ladies.
Come on up.
We have Miss Chelsea Cruz.
Chelsea Cruz.
And Alexis Chong.
Alexis Chong. You know what? When I first saw them, I was so moved by their passion, by their youth, by their conviction, and I wanted them on the show, and I'm so glad that they were here. We hear so much about all the wrong that's going on in our youth, but when you see How Ministries, when you hear Mooks ranting, there are young people that are on fire, that are doing things, that know who they are, and they're not afraid to say it. So I am so glad that you're going to stay tuned, and we're going to be back, and we're going to talk with How.
Dad, where do babies come from?
Well, there's Dad's big, shiny rocket ship. That's right, it's filled with babies of all kinds. And when the shiny rocket ship penetrates, Mommy and Dad goes, and when the time is just right, there's a space launch.
All systems go.
Babies of all kinds. Released all over the place. Yeah, Africa. Mommy's Babylandia. That's right, it's filled with babies. After an amazing 9 months, babies. And that, son, is where babies come from.
But Jake said babies come from
Planet. Babylandia.
You go,
play with us on the bus.
Wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. Wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
Technical Worldwide Tattoo Supply is one of the largest suppliers in the world and your number one resource for top quality, affordable tattoo and piercing supplies. Technical Worldwide Tattoo Supply is the number one supplier of tattoo inks in the world with more than 200 products including Mom's Ink, Philadelphia Eddie's Traditional Inks, Paolini Sacred Color Inks, and more. Technical Worldwide Tattoo Supply, your one-stop shopping destination for great service, best prices, and top quality supplies. Coney Island Carlos vintage wines and premium spirits are undeniably distinctive, selected for their unique, memorable flavor. Coney Island Carlos vintage wines and premium spirits are delivered to you in beautifully designed bottles featuring limited edition artwork. Coney Island Carlos vintage wines and premium spirits are available at affordable prices in fine restaurants, bars, and liquor stores. Or check www.coneyislandcarlo.com for availability.
Are you planning an event and want to include entertainment, but you're not sure where to turn? Act1Entertainment.net has provided over 1,500 events with quality, affordable live entertainment at private parties, corporate affairs, festivals, bike rallies, and more. Act 1 will fit into your budget. They're friendly, reliable, and do all the legwork for you. They take all major credit cards. Log on to Act1Entertainment.net for a free, no-obligation price quote or call 631-758-3505 for a brochure. You'll be happy you did.
Hello and welcome back to Working with What You Got. I'm your host, Renee Joshua Porter, and you have tuned in today, and we have some awesome, talented, anointed, fierce, just great young people on H.O.W Ministries. And I'm talking to two of the members, Miguel Pagan and Brian Flores. They just finished ministering to awesome numbers. Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much
All right.
for having us.
Tell me, what does H.O.W stand for?
H.O.W stands for Hands of Worship.
Hands of Worship. Okay, so give me the background. First of all, what's the age ranges of those of you in the group?
Well, the youngest of the group right now is 17.
Okay.
And the oldest is 24.
24, so from 24 to 17. And what's the mission of H.O.W?
Our mission is simply to reach the unreachable, to reach as many people in this generation as we can, and just let them know, to encourage them, inspire them, and just help them to believe in their mission, in their purpose in life, that they can reach their dreams, they can reach their ambitions. So through means of pantomime, through means of the arts, poetry, he's a poet, he does poetry, we reach this youth and this generation.
Okay, so how did H.O.W start? How did H.O.W start?
Well, it was 2008. It was 2008 when we started, and about 6 years ago, kind of crazy. And we started through our church. We were in our church, and a few of us, the youth at that time, had a mission and just a dream to worship the Lord through this and through this talent, this gift. So we began young. We were all 12, 13 years old at the time.
Wow.
And it was a different group back then that started. And since then, through the years, just something that started off as a simple, let's say, hobby or church ministry turned into something powerful. And I think as the years went on, we realized, wow, this is not just a group. This is not just something we do on the weekends. This is, you know, our purpose. This is ministry. This is what it's all about.
Okay, so let me ask you, one of the things that we always say on the show is it's time to unknot your mind. And the knot I'm talking about is N-O-T, taking out the can'ts, taking out the don't, the won't, I couldn't. And that was the whole purpose behind having this show. What are some of the knots that you had to deal with in your life, Brian and Miguel?
One of the knots I believe I had to deal with was coming to Jesus and realizing that who I am in Him.
Okay.
Because I went through a lot of like bullying growing up. I went through a lot of people putting labels on me and it becoming my reality, me letting it become my reality. And when I heard a preaching one day, to me, Jesus was like not in the picture, was not in my life. It's just something in the sky that my grandmother told me about, so it wasn't important. But when I heard this preacher say, I am loved, I am forgiven, I am chosen, that all my shame could be taken away, that I could be washed and cleansed from everything, that was one of the things that was hard for me. It was one of the knots, you can say, for me to come to Christ. It was just, that was the barrier for me. But once I realized that I am loved and forgiven, I just got hungry for more. I'm just like, I need more, and I overcame that by God's help.
Wow. And how about you, Miguel? What are some of the knots you had to deal with?
I think one of the biggest things is identity, knowing who you are. You know, there's so many people that they just live life and they live all their life not knowing who they are. Mm-hmm. And life is full of obstacles. Life is full of challenges. I mean, you see us and we do what we do. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. We fail, you know, and I think the key is that through the hardships and through the failure to get back up again. You know, I personally, in my own life, I suffer from diabetes, and I've had diabetes since I was 12 years old. Okay. Actually, when I started H.O.W, I got diagnosed about 2 months after. So after getting excited about doing something, 2 months later, I was diagnosed with a disease that's pretty serious. And, you know, through it all, I could let that stop me. I could let that, I mean, it has not been easy, you know, having to deal with, you know, this sickness that's pretty much not curable, you know. But through it all, I've learned patience. I've learned how to trust in God. I've learned that through life's hardships, when life just throws everything at you, all you have to do is look up. Look up and know that, you know what, there's still hope, there's still life, and God is in control.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying. I'm going to come from the other angle, right? So you said, okay, I've dealt with my conflict with identity, and I look up and God's able. Oh, I heard that I was loved. What about the person that's like, okay, that sounds good in theory, you know, but you don't know what I'm facing on a day-to-day basis. You know, your God sounds good, but, you know, I'm going through a rough situation, or I still want to get high. I still want to, your church and your rules and your religion comes with all these regulations. You hear people say that you can't do this, you can't do that. And I'm young. I want to have fun. That's fine when I'm like 40, but when I'm like 22, what do you say to them?
You know, I think one of the biggest misconceptions that people have is that they have to change who they are to come.
That's right.
They need, you know, I need to stop doing this before I can step foot into the church. I need to stop smoking. I need to stop drinking. I need to stop doing this. And the truth is, you need to come as you are.
That's right.
You know, none of us, you see us here, we're not perfect. You know, none of us are. We all got our stuff, you know, so we're no different. So those people who think that they have to have it all together, it's the opposite. We need to come to Jesus so He can help us get it all together. Because the truth is that apart from Him, we're a mess, you know? So to those people who may be thinking that or saying that, you know, those watching them may be thinking that just come as you are and experience Jesus, not religion, not church, experience Jesus, you know, because Jesus doesn't have rules and regulations. He's about love and forgiveness, grace, mercy. That's the difference. Come to Jesus, not the church.
Right, right. I love it. I love it. Now let me ask you something. That was excellent advice, and I totally agree with you. What do you think would be a huge lesson that you would like to share about how to work with what you got? Because sometimes you find some people, they may have long-standing issues. Maybe they feel that they're trying to work on having a relationship, you know, with the Lord and their faith, but their family's a mess, right? And they have to live with their family. Sometimes those long-standing issues can, you know, it says hope deferred can make the heart sick. You can really start to get despondent, like, man, nothing is changing. I'm trying, but everything around me seems to be stagnant. What do you say to that person? How do they work with what they got right where they are?
Well, I would just have to say that, just like Miguel said, to look up to the Lord. Look up to the Lord and find that encouragement in the Lord. You know, surround yourself with people from a church, people that will encourage you and help you out. Truth is that sometimes there is going to be those things. It might be family members, it might be different situations that's going on in your life that may want to hinder you or keep you stagnant in one position. But when you just look at Jesus and you have the encouragement, you're able to keep on going and move forward and just believing that though it may not seem like all good right now, my family might not be saved, I might be praying for my friends, they might be doing everything the way they're doing, that one day I believe that Jesus will touch their life, through my testimony, through me sharing the gospel with them. I believe that they can change. So I would just have to say, look up to the Lord, find confidence in the Lord, and that's why it's important fellowship as well, so you're able to encourage. You know?
I think fellowship is really important. I know for myself, I always said that on my tombstone is going to say, I get by with a little help from my friends. You know?
Yeah,
I mean, definitely with the Lord, but, you know, that helps.
Truth is, we can't do it by ourselves.
Right.
You know, and I think a lot of people have that mentality that, oh no, I can do this, I can accomplish this. And truth is that we need support. You know, and we're big on that, on helping each other out and supporting each other, knowing that I may be strong individually, but when I come collectively as a group, when I come together with my brothers and we do what we do, there's power in numbers. You know, so working with what you got, don't focus so much on what you don't have.
Right.
Focus on what you do have and what you're able to accomplish now. Focus on the now.
Now, let me ask you, how do you go about finding a selection that you want to minister?
Right? Prayer. You know, that's first and foremost. We always pray, and we see the where we're going. You know, we always present everything in prayer, and we say, okay, where are we going to go? The type of people that are going to be there. What are the needs that we may encounter there? And we just kind of sit there, we'll brainstorm, we'll come up with things, and then we'll be like, I think this is a good song. Everything comes through prayer, though. Sometimes you may go to a place, we have a song in mind, we get there, and it's like the spirit shifts, and it's like, you know what? That's not the song. We're going to do this one, you know? And things happen like that, and it's just being flexible. It all has to do with being flexible. You may go with your own agenda, and God may have a separate one, you know?
Let me ask you, where do you see how 10 years from now?
10 years from now, I see how doing more of the same, just bigger and better. That's what I always say. You know what? Reaching all those around us, believers, non-believers, children, youth, adults, reaching everyone we come in contact with through love, through our gifts. You know, I personally one day have dream of writing a book. You know, so I believe that, you know what, through this ministry, I'm learning and I'm being prepared and molded in order to reach that.
And how old are you, Miguel?
I'm 21.
And how about you, Brian?
I'm 18.
You're 18. Wow, this is so awesome. That is awesome. I love hearing this. You know, now let me just ask you, did you guys grow up in church? Did you grow, you know, pretty much your whole life?
I actually came into church when I was about 13 years old, and then that's when we started getting together and everything.
Okay, how about you?
Right. I was born into the church.
Okay, okay. All right. So those people that may have never stepped foot in a church, you know, that's just not, can they get in? Because, you know, I just have a thing. I don't go about preaching church. Right. You know what I mean? I do believe in fellowship of the assembly of the saints. I definitely do. I just really believe in preaching the gospel. And he said to go, right?
Right.
He said, go ye, right? And we are the church.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I was born into the church, but I didn't really have an encounter with Jesus till I was in my teen years. Okay. So it's one thing to be in church and just be in a building, but it's another thing to encounter Jesus. And some of the biggest encounters and experiences I've had haven't been in the church, but it's been alone in my room when I seek God, when I pray. On my own devotional time, you know? So many times people think, oh, I got to go to church to have that experience, have that encounter. Fellowship is good, but a lot of times it's that intimate relationship you have with Jesus.
Because that's where the exchange happens.
Yes.
You know, you stay in his presence, you cannot stay the same. Definitely. Right? You can't. He comes with that big spotlight and you're like, I am a crumb. Right? Wow, you guys are so refreshing. Thank you. Thank you for accepting the invitation. Thank you for lending your gifts to our audience. Thank you for giving your gifts to God. You know, you could be doing so much else, but thank you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Now, we always end every one of our shows with a story. And there's a lot of stories that come into mind. But I wanted to actually share something. This week in particular was a challenging week. A very dear friend of mine for almost 30 years, she passed away. And it was very sudden, and we're all still getting grips with it. But I wanted to share that earlier in the day, before I went to go see her in the hospital, I had written a note. And I'd written a note, and I was going to give it to actually my husband, and it was a couple of things that was kind of irritating me. So I wrote this little note because I figured if I write the note, it'll take my voice out of it. Because sometimes when you say it, people get annoyed. But if you write it, it takes all of your attitude and all your inflections out so they can hear the facts. So I'd written a note and I had put blah, 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 blah. I really wish that you would be mindful of da, 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 and da, 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 da. And I wrote my 2-page letter. And then I went to go see my dear friend. And I was there for a couple of hours. And I saw her family. I saw her loving husband. And I saw her son. And I saw her mom and friends and family and people that loved her dearly. And I was just believing. I was like, God, I know you can do it. I know you're a healer. And I was just praying in myself. And just, I kept on praying and believing. I believed so much that she was going to be healed. And I left the hospital probably a little bit before 11. And then I ended up getting a call later on that pretty much around 12, she had passed and went home to be with the Lord. On my way from Manhattan to Long Island Railroad, I fell asleep and I missed my stop. And I ended up in 2 stops past where I was supposed to be. So I jump up, I'm supposed to get off at one stop, and I hear next stop Ronkonkoma, which will be the last stop. So I run off like a maniac at 12:30 in the morning. Oh, let me off. And I get off and there's this girl sitting there. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I said, excuse me, because my phone is dead. I said, excuse me, can you make a call for me? And she's like, I got problems of my own. I got my own problems. So I just waited, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my husband is waiting for me at the train station. This girl, she's stinking of cigarettes. I mean, she's like she smelled like an ashtray. I could tell that she really didn't want to make a call for me, and I didn't know what to do, because now I had to wait for the train going back east so I can get off, and I couldn't call him because my phone was dead. Well, guess what happened? She comes and she says, who do you want to call? I said, do me a favor. What you do is you make the call, you put it on speaker. I just want to call my husband and tell him that I missed my stop. So she did it. I told him I was going to be on the next train. And she says, oh, I got problems of my own. I said, what's your problem? She says, this guy just dumped me and he just left me here. I said, he dumped you? Yeah. He just left me here. I pissed him off. I said, did he hurt you? She said, no, he didn't hurt me, but he scared the blink out of me. She didn't say blink. So I was like, okay, where'd you meet him? Internet dating. I was like, what? What are you going to do? I don't know. I got to go all the way back to Jersey. We're in Central Islip, Long Island. She said, by the time I get back to Penn Station, it's going to be 2 o'clock in the morning. The last train to Hoboken is like 1 o'clock. I don't get a train then until 6 in the morning. I said, what are you going to do? She said, I'm going to try to find a friend. So she's calling different people, trying to see if she could find someone in the city that she could stay with. So the train comes, we get on the train. I said, what's your name? She tells me her name. She said, her name is Jess. I just use that name for all intents and purposes. I said, well, Jess, I'm Renee. What are you going to do? Well, one of my friends, he works at BBQs, and I'm going to see if I could stay with him. I said, do you know him? She says, I know him well enough. I said, okay, you're scaring me. You're scaring me. You met a guy on internet dating. You're trying to find some random person, some random guy to stay with until you can take a train to go back. I said, please, you got to be careful. Long story short, I asked her, I said, could I pray for you? And she said, I don't, like, lady, I don't do the prayer thing. I said, please. I held her hand and I prayed for her. And I just started to talk life to her. And I started telling her that she's important and that she has value and that she's really operating very, very risky as she's putting herself in danger. And the reason she was putting herself in danger is because she didn't know her value. Because if she knew how valuable she was, she wouldn't do what she's doing. And that she's better off staying in Penn Station and just staying by the police depot until 6 o'clock in the morning is a tough lesson, and be safe and then go back to Jersey. And I actually prayed that nobody would have room for her to stay at, that she would have to stay in Penn Station. And she looked at me and her eyes kind of welled up with tears, and she reached over with her ashtray breath, and she came and she kissed me on the cheek. She said, "Thanks, Renee, thank you." And I got off the stop. And when I got off the stop, there was my husband waving for me. And I thought about that letter that I wrote. And I realized none of it matters. There was my friend that I just went to see. She died. Here was this girl who didn't know her value, and she's sleeping around and really selling herself so short. And here was this guy that I love and I've been with for 23 years at close to 1:30 in the morning, waiting for me because I fell asleep. And I was going to give a note about something that irritates me that's not even important. And what I want you to know is you start to unknot your mind. Stop majoring in the minors and minoring in the majors. Start majoring in the majors and minor in the minors. Focus on the people that love you. Focus on the time that you have. Focus on the gifts that God has given you. Focus on what really matters and stop being petty. Stop being petty. Take the knots out of your mind. Free your mind, and the rest will follow. Thank you so much. See you next week.